Hey everyone, CerebralTackle back again today. Please do me a favor real quick. Like, share, subscribe, and let's talk about a technique that's I'm not sure is discussed a lot when it comes to fishing heavy cover for largemouth bass. When most bass anglers hear the term split shotting, they think of suspended bass out in deeper water, the finesse technique, right? Now there's something that they might have overlooked when it comes to shallower, very dense heavy cover. Now anybody who fishes for bass in the gnarly stuff, lots of trees, lots of lily pads and thick hydrilla especially, you guys are going to absolutely love this little tidbit. Unfortunately, I don't have the goodies to show you right here in front of me today due to technical difficulties beyond my control. However, here's what we've got. Normally when we're talking a typical split shot rig for bass, you have either like a pegged, very skinny, almost tubular Carolina style weight, or maybe a super small bullet weight, or even a couple good old-fashioned split shots where the rig got its name from. Then you'll have a small leader, and then your bait behind it. The purpose of fishing a traditional split shot rig is kind of a slow pendulum retrieve back to you, whereas you raise your rod tip a little bit, that worm will kind of have a herky-jerky swimming action behind the weights that are in front of it. Whatever movement the weight has as you're bringing it back will create kind of a delayed reaction in the worm swimming gently behind it. Beautiful, wonderful method, but not exactly what we're talking about today. I stumbled upon this rig when I was a kid, many moons ago. I was fishing a bit of bank that had a lot of dense lily pads, and I could see some busting of some large bass going after things like shell crackers, red ear sunfish, and that kind of thing throughout the day. I knew there had to be a way to get to them, although fishing from the bank in dense lily pads can be hard, and the nice like Zoom horny toad, my personal favorite, the Kitech noisy flapper, stuff like that weren't invented yet. So I had to kind of think outside the box, and I kind of figured a little something out. I wanted to be able to throw out to these lily pads where the bass were ambushing their prey, but not so hard that it just hit straight to the bottom, and not overthrow it and have to drag it through, 100 yards of lily pads coming back to me, right? So I kind of experimented with a couple of split shots above a bait. What I did was I took a small 4-inch lizard, and then I put a split shot a few feet in front of it. Not like the 14 to 18 inches or even 12 inches like you might do on a traditional split shot rig. No, I based this upon the depth of the water I was fishing. I didn't make it as deep as the water was I was fishing, but I got it close, and here's why. The goal is to throw this rig out on the lily pads. Let it sit there a second and twitch it for a minute or two across those lily pads. That way the fish underneath will feel and see those vibrations coming off of the lily pads. Like see as in the ripples coming from the lily pads, and feel those vibrations, knowing that something's walking up across those lily pads. Now, once you've pulled a little bit and got the fish's attention there on the top of that lily pad, you're going to slowly pull until you ease those weights off the lily pad, causing them to fall down the water, slowly pulling your bait behind it. In the first rendition of this, like I said, I was using a 4-inch little mini, I want to say a Zoom lizard back in the day. I suggest anything that's small and catches a ton of water. One of my very successful things has been like a tiny brush hog by Zoom. Oh, small, like a little 3-inch bait that catches a lot of water. What you want is just something to slowly glide down. Something light with a lot of water displacement, catches water and just slowly falls. So, let's say you're fishing 4 feet of water. What you want to do is you want to set your leader length at about, 3 feet, maybe even 3.5 feet. The reason why is when you inch those weights off that lily pad and they fall, you want the weights hitting way ahead of your bait. This will cause the bait to kind of dart off the lily pad and then immediately slowly fall. Tell me what that looks like to you. Does that not resemble something that just kind of got drunk and fell off the side of the lily pad, fell in and is now screwed? Does to me. Now, you know who else that looks like that as well too? The bass. Bass freaking love it. First day I was trying it, I took that little 4-inch zoom mini lizard out there, and I mean, when I drew that thing off that lily pad, I mean, I was probably fishing, like I said, about 4 foot of water, had my leader anywhere from 3 to 3.5 foot deep, drew it off the edge of that lily pad. Those weights immediately fell down, hit first. That lizard just slowly caught water and started gliding its way down. A nice 7-pound bass stuck his head out from underneath the adjacent lily pad and crushed it. Now, yes, I was, like I said, fishing from the bank. I had to fight him through a ton of lily pads to get him up, but that's a good problem to have, folks. At the time I found this little nugget, braid wasn't around yet, or at least big time on the market. There might have been spider wire and some scattering of braid here and there, but it wasn't nearly as popular as it is now, if it was out. Now, braid will cut through a lot of lily pads, otherwise it'll just get you stuck like everything else. So, can you use braid? Yes. However, braid soaks in water and will make that bait sink faster. I know, fluorocarbon's my baby. I use fluorocarbon too. Fluorocarbon also absorbs water. I'm still going to go with it. I'm still going to go with it over braid because I'm very, very finicky whenever it comes to line visibility. Braid, even being as thin as some braid can get, I don't like the color. Give me fluorocarbon. Mono? Will mono work? Yes. If you can find a good clear mono, go with that too, because it floats and your bait will hang up even longer. So mono or fluoro, unless you're in super dense crap, man, go for braid. It's whatever works best for you. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to fish with. I just want to give you a good basis to lay the foundation so you can go out and try some of these techniques yourself. I'm just trying to pass along some of the basics of the technique and what works best for me. So, things to keep in mind, your leader length. You don't want it to be such a long leader that you can't freaking cast with it, right? So judge it accordingly. If you're fishing 3-4 foot deep, you can probably get away with a 3.5 foot leader, right? Do that. Whatever lets those weights hit first and lets that bait slowly drift and kind of glide behind the weights to the bottom. You want to give him all the chance he can get to nail it. You want to give that bass the longest look at that bait possible. You want him to think it's a nice little bait fish or lizard or something that just kind of slithered off the top of a lily pad or got knocked out underneath a lily pad if it's a bait fish, and it's just kind of helplessly falling to the bottom. Give him that long finesse look. If these fish are ambushing prey up on those lily pads, they're going to want a bit of a gander at it, right? Give it to them. So, good things to use are things like small brush hogs, small finesse worms, any kind of like a SS gill or some kind of a small, tiny gliding bait, a high-tech crazy flapper in like the 2.8 version. Something super small like that would also catch a lot of water and work. But whatever it needs to be, whatever you're going to choose, needs to be able to catch a lot of water and slowly fall. So pick out of your best confidence baits what you want to use there. Make the technique your own. Like I said, leader length, nice little flat presentation that can glide down. Put it out there where other fishermen are afraid to throw a split shot. You can use it around wood. Be ready. Around wood, I might recommend braid. Lily pads, thick hydrilla, fluorocarbon all day long, baby. Even in hydrilla that is very densely stacked, you don't have a lot of water on top, go with a lighter weight and just slowly crawl that bait across the surface. As a matter of fact, that's one way to fish a lot of dense hydrilla without getting hung up and using a very heavy weight. Crawl across the top. If you find a hole or a pocket, let it fall down in it. You know, I'm telling you, the situations are endless in ways you can use this. But split shotting for bass isn't just about deep water, suspended fish anymore. Think about that. Anyway, pick you up some nice water catching, fat, dense little small plastics. Grab you some split shots, get it together, get out there and nail a big freaking bass. Keep it wet.